In this video, let's start with identifying the buyers. Okay, so I have marked the buyers region with the blue rectangle and the sellers region with the red rectangle. Okay, so all the blue rectangles you can see in this chart is the buyers region, and all the red rectangles are the sellers region. Okay, so to identify where the buyers are starting, where the buyers are starting, we need to first find out where the sellers are dying. In other words, when the power of the sellers will die, then only the buyers will overtake the sellers and take the command and will let the price to go up. Fine. So let's find out the sellers region. The first sellers region we can see is here in the first rectangle. The price was price took a break and was not able to go up because of the sellers pressure. Fine. Then the price took a new fresh low from this level to this level. It was a new low. Then price again took a halt of like 3 to 4 candles, and the buyers took an attempt to go up, but suddenly when they just touched the EMA, the sellers got very strong, or they got activated, and from this region to this region they went down and they made a fresh lower low. Okay, this was a level, this was a level, and now this is the new or a fresh lower low. Fine. So these sellers, like, so so can you see the volumes? There are huge volumes of sellers. So the sellers, from where did they start their journey? From A point to B point. This was the A point. Okay, and before this journey, they started from A point to B point. Okay, so this was a sellers region from where they started. The next level was this region. Fine. So if the buyers have to overtake the sellers, they have to cross this region first. Okay, why they need to cross this region? Because the major sellers are sitting here. From where did they started? So if the buyers will overtake the sellers region, that will clearly indicate the buyers are now in power. Fine. Let's find out what happened next. The price took a fresh low, then the price took a halt. The buyers got activated, and at the first they just touched the EMA. Fine. You can see the price, the buyers just touched the EMA and they were not able to go up. Fine. Again, what happened? The sellers got activated, but the power, we can see there is so less power. Previously, they were having so strong power over this place. We can see the sellers were having very less power. So we can see the price went up from this 109.37 to 109.55. Means the buyers took the command and went up to the EMA. They just touched the EMA and were not able to go up. That means the sellers are pushing them down, and the sellers are still the sellers are still in power. Fine. So what happened next? The sellers got activated and they went down. The price went down. But we can see one very important thing. The previous volumes were very high, but here the volume is very low. But what is the reason why the volume is very low? That means the power of the sellers is has decreased. Fine. The power of the sellers has decreased. So who will take the opportunity of it? Of course, the buyers. Two they are just two participants in the market, either the sellers or the buyers. Fine. If the sellers are not strong or the sellers are weak, the buyers will take the advantage and they will start running in their direction. Fine. So we see in the next candle, the price went up once from 109.44 to this region. We have identified previously this was the major sellers region. Fine. The first thing what happened, the buyers just crossed the EMA and MA. They didn't took a pause there. The second thing what they did, they just went inside the sellers region. Fine. If they went inside the sellers region very easily, that means the sellers are very powerful. Sorry, the buyers are very powerful. The sellers are not able to stop the buyers. Okay, I will explain it once more. When we saw the volumes of the sellers are very less, and the sellers didn't made a fresh lower low, or we can easily see by watching these candles, the power of the sellers are very less. Who will take the advantage of this reason? The buyers. Definitely the buyers will take the advantage. Fine. So what happened next? We saw the buyers overtook the sellers and they went north. Fine. First, they targeted the MA and the EMA. They just crossed it very easily. The next target was the sellers major region, from the last sellers region from where the sellers started their journey and went up to this place. We can easily see they are making fresh higher high. That means the buyers are in more power than the sellers, and the sellers are these sellers are not able to control these buyers. And with the volume bars, we can see there are huge volumes coming. Fine. Means the buyers are returning, and buyers are just fighting with the sellers, and they are in more power. Fine. So what will happen next? When if they cross this region, where will they go next? Definitely the other sellers region. Fine. I have written a line over there, over here. Once the buyer crosses one seller's region, then the buyer's target is to go up to the next seller's region. What does this mean? If the buyer crosses one seller's region, this is a seller's region. You know that because the seller started running from this place. So the buyers crosses this region. As we can see, the buyers crossed this region, and so then the buyer's target is to go up to the next seller region. After this point, where will they go? They will go from this place to this place. What is this place? This is the next seller's territory from where they started. Okay. So it's very easy. The buyers, it's very easy that you can see the buyers went up to this place, but they were stopped by the sellers. So by watching these 3 to 4 candles, we can easily say the sellers are more powerful and the buyers are less. Okay, we can see with the candles the buyers are like decreasing their power, and who is overcoming them? The sellers. Fine. So who took the power? The sellers. But did they made a new low? No, we just saw what the sellers did. They just made the buyers to pause a bit. Okay, in other words, the buyers took a rest. When the buyers took the rest, the sellers overcome them, but they didn't went much lower. So where did they go? They just came near to the EMA. The sellers went just near to the EMA, and what happened? The buyers again got activated. So we saw here also when the sellers took a pause, the buyers took the advantage, and what happened? They just touched the EMA, and just the moment when the uh, buyers touched the EMA, the sellers got activated. Over here also we can see the same thing. The sellers came near to the EMA, the buyers got activated and went up. Okay, so what happened? The price went up more and made a fresh higher high. Okay, so again at this place we saw like 3 to 4 candles halt by the buyers. If there is a halt, that means there is a seller's territory. Fine, we can see if the buyers are halting or taking a rest, that means somebody is pushing them down. So who are they? They are the sellers. Now we saw the price, the sellers just touched the EMF, and again the buyers got activated and they went up. But the buyers were not able to cross the sellers territory. Fine. So again the sellers got the power to move them down. But again the again the price just touched the EMA, and at this point the buyers were very powerful, and they started going north, and they made a fresh higher high. What is high high? This was a halt, and they paused here. So this was a high. The next high was this place where they took a break, and this is the last or the final higher high. One, two, three. Okay, higher high, higher high, higher high. Buyers took a pause, and the sellers are not allowing the buyers to go up. So, who will take the advantage of this situation? Obviously, the sellers. When the sellers will take the advantage, they will go down and the price will start coming down. The price started to come down, and the first target should be to touch the EMA and the MA. See what happened? The price just touched, or the sellers touched the MA and the EMA. Suddenly, the buyers got activated. The buyers got activated like before. They went up. Fine. But there's a major difference when what happened here. The difference between this and this is the sellers immediately push the buyers down. In just one candle only, we can see the buyers were rejected, or the sellers didn't allow the buyers to come into their territories. Fine. So there was a price rejection by the sellers. Okay, so this is an indication that the sellers are more powerful than the buyers. Fine. So we can take a trade here because the stop losses, like the next seller's region is just above us only. If we take a trade at the price of this 1010.57, we'll have very small stop loss, like not more than 100 pips, 100 pips stop loss. Fine. And we can target the next buyer's region. The next buyer's region is like 400 points lower to it. So the ratio is very good. Fine. So 1 is to 4. 1 is to 4 ratio we are getting in this trade. Fine. So this is a very good trade because of two major reasons. One, the price was rejected at this place, the sellers took the power, and in the next candle, when the buyers took the attempt to go higher high, the sellers didn't allow them, and majorly means with very huge volumes, they rejected the buyers. Fine. So in the next candle, the sellers went down. So what should be our target? What should be the target of the sellers? Means what will be the A point? We know the A point is this. So what should be our destination? Means the B point. So the B point should be either this place, the place from where the buyer started their journey, or the next B point, or the place where the last buyers started their journey. Fine. We will just wait for the candles to form, and with the power of the sellers, we will take our profits. Fine. In the next candle only, we saw the sellers went down and they just crossed this buyer's region very easily. Fine. Then they took a halt. The buyers got means activated, but they didn't went above the EMA. See, the price was not able to go down below the EMA. Here, the price is not able to go above the EMA. That is a very good indication that still the buyers are not in power. Still, the sellers are in good power. So, what should be our next destination, or what should be our B point? Our A point was this, the B point was either this one or this one or this one. Fine. So the by watching the less power of the buyers and the strongness of the sellers, we decided to target this region of the buyers. We will wait until the price went up to this region or up to the buyer's region, and we can see clearly the price went easily down up to this place. They went low, and after some time, after two candles, the buyers returned back and they overcome the sellers. Fine. If they overcome the sellers, the first target of the buyers should be to touch the EMA and the MA. So they did the same thing. They just touched the MA and EMA, and they are just, we can see with the power of the buyers, they are making fresh higher high, new high, new high, then new high. That means the EMA and the MA prices are not able to stop the buyers. Means the buyers are in more power than the sellers. So what will the buyers do here? They will, if their A point is this, from where they started, their B point should be either this one. And when we saw the buyers easily crossed this destination, So their next target or the B point should be the last seller's territory.